Squirrels! So hello, and welcome to another Legends of Runeterra video. My name is Chris, and today we'll be going through some more spoilers for the new cards. Look like this first one we've got here is actually Freljord card, judging by all of this, and this little symbol here. So we'll get into those, and I was expecting the Noxus cards today. I think most people were, but I guess we have, you know, maybe some cards from the other regions instead. If that is the case, then let's go into them and see what we've got. An 8/8 here. This is a new card, right? It looks like one. It is It That Stares. I love some of the names of these Freljord cards are really fun, you know. She Who Wanders, It That Stares. Pretty cool names. Is an 8 mana 8/8. Interesting. Play, obliterate all landmarks, or deal 2 to all other units. So it's obviously an 8 cost. So obviously the first thing that comes to mind is like a Behold deck, right? You know, we've got this 8+ managed synergies. This is obviously an 8 drop in Freljord, so it fits with that. Obliterate all landmarks. It's quite interesting. Or deal 2 to all other units. Now, in that deck, obviously, you're playing, again, a lot of, like, regeneration with Trundle. There's even the 4-mana one that has regeneration, and 6-mana Augur as well that has regeneration if you have an 8-mana card. So, I get, obviously, this is kind of fitting within that package, right? That they'll deal 2 to them, but obviously that won't kill them. By turn 8... I'd expect most units to have, you know, more than 2 health, and so I don't think this would be killing off too much, but you can look at it as, like, you know, against like a Twisted Fate, what's it called? Go Hard deck. Twisted Fate Go Hard, you know, they don't run too many units that have more than 2 health, so this would seem like a, you know, a pretty good way of dealing with that. And obviously, again, if landmarks come out and there are some really good landmarks that are around, you know, that have, you know, that potentially are a bit later on in the game, that, you know, have a lot of big sort of dealings, then this would, you know, and are impacting the game a lot and are kind of in top decks, right? Then this will be a card, you know, that you could see some play, you know. An 8/8 as well. It's, you know, it's okayly statted. 8 health. I mean, you know, we've all tried to remove a Mind Splitter, and it's not easy. I know it has Fury, but, you know, 8 health is pretty difficult to get rid of in this game. It trades with stuff like Farron pretty well. And if you look at that kind of Ezreal Draven deck, you know, there isn't too many things with 2 health, but, you know, if maybe you've played an Avalanche or something like that on their board as well, potentially this could then, you know, wipe them out. I could see it fitting within the deck. But I think it would have to be all in Behold. I think the Behold cards would probably need to be a little better to really, you know, push this in a certain direction. I think the Behold cards would have to just be a little better as a group to make this ultimately worthwhile, I think. But it's not terrible. Not terrible. Next card. We are still in Freljord, and we have another landmark. Interesting. The Scarground. Whoa. 3 mana. When an ally survives damage, grant it 1/0 and tough. Whoa. Now, this does change some things. This is interesting. Could Vlad work? It's what we're all thinking, right? Can Vlad ever be good? This might be the card that Vlad has needed, because of course Vlad will deal damage to your units, right? The problem is, you know, he's like killing your units, and they're trying to make him a mid-range champion, and as I've said before, like, his ability just doesn't fit with his ability just doesn't fit with being mid-range, because he's dealing damage to your own units, and you want, you know, if you're mid-range game plan, you want to keep your units alive, you know, you want to outvalue your opponent. And so he's actively hurting that kind of whole strategy. But with something like this, now we are looking at something that you can potentially run. And I'm trying to think of, like, other Freljord things. Braum. Perfect for Braum. I only just thought about it. Braum, of course, you can give Braum tough, and you can give him extra attack. Oh my goodness. A Braum deck with this. You know, I recently posted about Ember Maiden Scargrounds. Oh my god, this card. Oh, I'm gonna build a deck around this. This is maybe the first time I've been like properly hyped in this little spoiler reveal season so far. Wow, this card. It fits so many different things. Like Ember Maiden. Think of Ember Maiden with a board full of this. You give everything tough. You give Ember Maiden herself tough so she can keep going off and your units don't die at all. They keep getting attack. Oh, if you can find a way to give them Overwhelm as well, you know, with like Scar Maiden Reaver. I suppose Ember Maiden only deals the damage the one time though. Does that count? I know, yeah, it still counts as damage, right? Even if it doesn't actually, you know, hurt them, it still is damage. I'm fairly sure that giving them tough, it doesn't matter. I'm fairly certain about that. I could be wrong. Please feel free to correct me if I am wrong, but I'm fairly sure it's still surviving damage just because it hasn't lost any health. It is still damage. Anything that says I deal 1, as long as it's not 0, it is damage, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, Ember Maiden works brilliantly. Oh man, this is going to be so much fun. And as I say, Braum is insane with this card. You know, we all saw how powerful Braum was as a 1/5. He was literally too strong. They just had to nerf him because he was just too good. And now, of course, you have to find this card, right? And you have to play on turn 3, and that's a bit of a tempo loss. So, you know, it's not as crazy as just giving Braum 1 attack. But still, it is going to be so cool to see if Vlad can work, to see Braum back in the meta again, to see a deck built around this. It's exactly what it needed. And I am so hyped for this card. It might not even be that good. Don't get me wrong. I don't think this card is like crazy good, but I'm just so happy that it's going to give you more ways to play and make those decks more competitive. Because obviously, like a Vlad Braum, I think they wanted that, you know, with the Crimson cards and with the Scar cards. You know, they kind of, I think, wanted that to be a whole deck. But then it never really came about, and it was always missing something like this to just say, right, here is like a way for your units to survive every time and give them extra attack. Perfect card for the deck. Can't wait to play with it. Can't wait to play with that card. An Ionia landmark as well. 3 mana. Monastery of Hirana? I imagine it's one of the other. Round start, create a sanctuary in hand. Well, what is sanctuary? Before we can even give a comment, Sanctuary, 1 mana, burst speed, spell, fleeting, recall an ally, and it can't be cast, so similar to gems, can't be cast in combat or response to a spell. So it's kind of like a burst speed, slow speed spell, is the way I kind of think of these cards. So, recall an ally. So every turn, this is going to give you the chance to recall an ally. There must be something that you can do with that, but off the top of my head, I can't think of what would be like. There will be, I'm sure, at least at some point in the game, this will be able to create a deck around it, where you just want to recall some sort of cheap unit that has like a strong effect. Like imagine if like Shadow Assassin, you know, was like a 2 mana card, right? Obviously it'd be too good, but like, you know, something small that you just like says like draw a card or something. You know, just constant play effects, like cheap, like summon effects, I guess is how you'd want to do it, but it have to be strong enough to like where that would be worth it. Which is interesting. I don't quite know exactly where you could fit that in. Yeah, I'm unsure about this one right now. I don't think there could be a competitive deck around this right now. In the future, or maybe even, you know, in this set, they might print more cards, maybe even in this video, they might print more cards that make this more worthwhile. But right now, I just can't think off the top of my head about Sanctuary. Homecoming, more Ionia. 5 mana, fast speed, recall an ally unit or landmark to recall an enemy unit or landmark. Ooh. Ooh. So like Will of Ionia, but better in some decks. I think, yeah. This is, where did you see this one? I can definitely see being played, because Will of Ionia isn't a terrible card. Even at 5 mana, at 4 mana, it's crazy. So at 5 mana, it's not even that bad. And decks that kind of, you know, benefit somewhat, you know, from recalling an ally unit, why would you not play this card? Because, I mean, like, assume, you know, they go in for, like, I don't know, a big thermo beam on one of your units, right? You have Homecoming, you recall yours, you send one of their units back. They've just played thermo beam. They can't replay whatever their unit or landmark was. You've saved your unit as well. It's a massive, massive swing. And so this will need the right deck. You know, you'll need units that you actually don't mind recalling, you know, stuff like Rekindler, or stuff with, you know, sort of big play summon effects. But as soon as you found that deck with that in there, you've got Homecoming, and that will be a card. I mean, the art on this is pretty interesting as well, but I'm assuming this is walking. Yeah, just a solid card, I think. Will fit into some decks. Yeah, will just fit into some decks and be a pretty solid card. But I don't think this will be as ubiquitous as Will of Ionia was at 4 mana. We should have 1 or 2 more cards, hopefully 2. Wiggly Burblefish. Burblefish. That's what we're going to go with. It's a 6 mana 3/1 elusive in Bilgewater this time. So we are like touching on all the other regions. Reduce my cost by 1 for each spell you've cast this game. When I'm summoned, create a 1-cost spell from your regions in hand. Huh. See, this is what, the second card? There might be more. Skies Descend, Ancient Yeti. Is this the other one? I mean, there's probably more that I just can't think of right now. But, you know, reduced my cost cards, I think, are pretty, you know, common in card games in general, right? It's like an interesting way to sort of, you know, say, build a deck around this. And then, you know, here's this card that, you know, if you can play it for less mana, you know, that's good. A 3/1 elusive. The 1, is the payoff really worth it? See, back in the day, you know, if this was back in, you know, the open beta of this game, where elusives were dominant, if you would have shown me this card, I would have said, dang and blast, they printed another good elusive card, you know, with high attack. But then Bilgewater came out, and Bilgewater, you know, sort of stopped anything with 1 health from being good, because it had so many different ways of dealing 1 damage. And then Targon came out, and Hush came out, and Sharpsight came out, and, you know, Freeze, you know, Ash, Frostbite became even better, and elusives just haven't had the same pull that they used to. And I think combined with 1 health, with, you know, having to build a deck around it as well, obviously it could fit in some deck, and just not giving you enough as a whole, I don't think Wiggly Burblefish is ultimately going to make the cut. And the real answer right here is, look at this gem color, it's purple, and that means that, you know, it's like about a 75% chance of being a pretty bad card. So yeah, I'd put it in that category myself. Is there one more? There is one more. Boom Ship. Deal 1 to a unit. Then summon powder kegs equal to the amount of damage dealt. I wish this could go face, because then it would really be interesting. Okay, Boom Ship. So obviously with kegs, with Funsmith, so it's like you get your kegs back kind of thing, I guess. Or if you have none, then, you know, you just... Oh, you get +1 keg, basically. So it's a 3 mana, deal 1, and summon a keg. At slow speed... it could work in a certain deck. You know, if you're all in kegs. If it could go face, I feel like this would be, you know, a lot better. The fact that, you know, you could just go, I'm going to deal 3 to face and get 4 kegs and then warning shot you or whatever to the face. Maybe that would be too good. Maybe that's why they didn't do it. But the fact it's only on units, I don't think that this is quite good enough. Because obviously you're going to need kegs and it's a slow speed spell. So if at any point, you know, they killed your keg, you'd probably not be killing the unit that you've targeted, and you'd only get 1 keg back. I don't think that this will see play. Yeah, I don't think this will see play. Ultimately. Which is unfortunate because it's kind of a cool card. But I think it's just... If it was fast speed, then I think it would, but again, that might be too strong. So I don't have high hopes for Boom Ship, and I think that is going to be it. So a quick recap of all these cards. The first one was It That Stares. Overall, I'd give this like, you know, a C+. Like it's fine. It might hit a deck. I don't think the cards around it are good enough. Then again, if landmarks become, you know, super ubiquitous in the meta, then It That Stares could definitely see some experimentation. Scargrounds is a card I am absolutely excited for. I'm not sure it's going to be like that great, but am I excited for it? 110%. I cannot wait to play around with all the different things you could do with this card. You know, you could even do like Soraka, Freljord stuff. Obviously, you can do Vlad, you can do Braum with, you know, you could add Bilgewater in there. Oh, the Bilgewater cards, of course. You can give Boxtopus and you know, Krusty Codger in them, and the Croaker. They'll all get tough if you play this and then play them. They will all get tough because they deal damage themselves. That's really interesting as well. So yeah, that has potential. I love this card. 100%. Monastery of Harana. I can't see a way that this could be good right now, but in the future, or if someone can find a combo that, you know, is worth running these sanctuaries for, then I could. Off the top of my head, I can't think of it, but it could be possible that there is a combo I'm not thinking about, and it could be insane. So let me know if you can think of one. Homecoming, solid card, like a B-. Wiggly Bowfish, not quite it, I'm afraid. And Boom Ship, also probably not good enough, but maybe in the right deck, it could see some play. So that is going to end this one right there. Cannot wait. I literally cannot wait to play with Scargrounds. Expect many different decks from me regarding Scargrounds, because I love the card. So yeah, that's going to do it for this one. My name's been Chris, and I will see you tomorrow with more spoiler reveals.